Hey everybody, John Steyer Flooring, and we're back here in the laboratory. We're going to do some testing here. Let me turn you around and show you what's going on. Is there a difference between glue sticks for seam sealing? And what we're going to be comparing is the extended open time heat sticks compared to the actual glue sticks here that are made for seam sealing. You can see that there is a color difference, and I'm assuming that's got to do with this right here, the UV tracer that's inside the glue. But I want to see what the difference is between these glues. This is from my perspective, I guess, from using the two. This seems a little more flexible compared to this. This sets up a little bit more rigid, and so you'll see it when you seal your seam. You'll get that. You know, it'll kind of just whatever they want to call that, where it looks like it's bridged with the seam. But you can bend it and crease it, and it'll snap and break. And I want to see what this does, if it does the same or works different. So the plan is I've got my seam iron. I'll be following that with the seamer down now, a little ways behind it. I won't be directly behind the seam because it is cold. I am seaming on top of a piece of plywood on top of concrete, but I do have my nice radiant heat going, so this concrete's not too bad. And then we're going to be using Oricon Super 3s seam tape, the 4-inch tape, and then I've got my two glue guns for seam sealing plugged in here. My power hold gun has the extended open time adhesive in it, and the Oricon Oricon gun has the regular the seam seal sticks in it. So I'm going to seam seal and burn seams here quick. I do want to note that the extended open time glue sticks, doesn't matter what brand it is, but none of them that I have researched are recommended for seam sealing carpet together. So I want to put that on there, make that very clear that I'm not telling you to go ahead and do this, that it's going to be okay. All right, guys, here you go. Over here, my left foot, this side was seam sealed with the extended open time sticks. And this was with what I would call just your normal glue stick. Both of them are from Power Hold. But what I'm going to do is, and by normal I mean the normal seam sealing stick. So I'm just going to split it in two, and we're just going to go over each side here quick. So there's my seams. You can see I burned these almost 3 1/4, 3 1/2-ish on my iron. So I'll give you an idea how hot it was. I've always preferred to run my seams a little bit warmer, but that's just me. All right, so I should just split it and get right down the middle. Let's do that. Weakest part of the seam is always where you start and stop. All right, so here we are. We've got our seam right there. Doing what it's supposed to do. You guys can see that. You can see that. And I'm pushing on it pretty hard. It ain't even, it's not coming apart. So I'm gonna get it to crack here. Hopefully you can see all that. Where you can see, hopefully, in the seam where like there's strings going side to side, that's just a glue going back and forth. And then some spots you have this where it's actually pulling the backing over. So that's what your traditional, I guess, seam sealer should do. Let's see if we can do that same with the extended open time seam. There you go, there's the seam. Same thing. You guys can see that. Bending it on the, stays nice and flat. And I'm gonna put a bunch of pressure on it. Wow. Okay. So, look at that. Now, my question, I think I should say my question. My statement before was that I think these glue sticks are more flexible. They don't crack. They kind of give. That's showing right there exactly. Why aren't they making seam sealer out of this? I mean, look at that. It's pulling the backing. That's how hard it's sticking. The backing's pulling loose. So I might give my Orcon rep a call, or Power Hold rep a call, and find that out. But let's try another one here. This is the beginning of the seam. This is usually always the weakest, but again, yeah, you can see right there. Look at that. It didn't even activate there. But here, look at that. Look at how that's pulling the backing apart. The backing's going over. So again, that's what that's telling me. At least this is my assumption. Here's the other half of it, other piece of it. There we go. Look at how hard that holds. So I'm just wondering, longevity-wise, would this hold better? Would this hold better than the traditional? I believe, but I mean, it should be a better glue stick, right? I mean, these things are expensive compared to these, but you're going to want to be using these because of that UV tracer. But I mean, you know, we live in a world where it seems like our products just keep getting cheaper and cheaper. What would it take to, why can't we use these as a seam sealer? Why can't they put a UV tracer in there? I could see the problem with these because they do operating temperatures 365 to 392. I wonder if it has something to do with some of these the cooler seam tapes, also the cool glide. It doesn't get real hot. You almost have to use a you're gonna have to use something like this where it can be used at a lower temp. But the thing is I still don't think, this is my opinion, guys, I'm giving you a lot of opinions here, but I don't think, especially in this colder weather that we're having right now, it really, those low temperature tapes, those low temp, the cool glide, any of that, it doesn't seal up as good as a traditional hot melt, especially in the winter time. But that's just my opinion, you know, and I can have it. So there you go. Wanted to share that with you. It's a little long video, but do your own test, figure it out, you know. Like I said before, I want the strongest seam possible, and you guys saw what it was doing with that backing, how it wouldn't even come apart. It was welded together, and the backing was stretching and pulling apart to bend over. So that's telling me that's a pretty, I mean, maybe we don't need seams that strong. I don't know. Thanks for watching. Catch you on the next one.